Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Shifarao Lagao, and stay with us. The government's directions for the Ethiopian year of 2015, signaled by President Sahle-Work Zewde on Monday at the parliament, are generating reactions from residents of Addis Ababa. Approached by ETV, some underlined that ensuring the peace and security of this Horn of Africa nation remains a matter of survival. Habtamu Ashagri has compiled their views as follows.
የሰሜኑ ጉዳይም ብቻም ሳይሆን በአገሪቱ ውስጥ የተለያዩ ቦታዎች ላይ ችግሮች አሉ።
Apart from the threat posed by the war in the north, security remains precarious in some other parts of the country as well. The government should give prime attention to ensure peace. If the situation merits it, peaceful settlement of the conflict is a preferred choice. All sects must exert efforts of this initiative to take off the ground.
የሰላም አባቶችን የእምነት አባቶችን
መንግስት ለሰላም ቁርጠኛ መሆኑን ከጅምሩ አንስቼ እኔ በጣም
The government's calm and its relentless efforts to find a peaceful remedy is laudable. It literally begged the TPLF to accept this option. We all want bloodshed to end. The ball, by all accounts, is in the TPLF's side of the field.
ሰላም ሆኖ ህዝባችን
ፕሬዝዳንቱ ያስቀመጡት በጎ ነገር
The president's directions are congruent with the realities prevalent in the country and help to bring the much-desired peace. While the government has kept the ball rolling to bring peace, the TPLF remains belligerent and is saying my way or the highway. That explains why peace hangs by the thread bare.
የትምኪት እንትኑን ያለቀቅ
ማህበረሰቡ በየትኛውም ከትንሽ እስከ ትልቅ ለሰላም ዘመቆም መቻል አለበት።
The general public needs to stand alongside the government to bring peace and stability. We need to forge greater unity so that we remain stoic in the face of tough times. But if push turns to shove, we will pay our share and very gladly.
እንቅስቃሴዎችን ውጤታማ ለማድረግ ቅድሚያ
We're going to stay on this issue, ladies and gentlemen, and the House of People's Representative and the House of Federation officially resumed their second annual session Monday after a recess of 2 months. And to talk about such issues, I'm joined by Mered Bisrati's economist. So do stay with us, and thank you, Mered.
Thank you.
So, while officially opening the joint session of the House of Federation and the House of People's Representatives, President Sahle-Work Zewde has pinpointed government's focal areas and directions. Yes. So, what is your evaluation of government's macroeconomic policy directions?
I think Her Excellency in her speech, I think is very clear in terms of addressing the microeconomy imbalances, mainly inflation, right? I think she mentioned it a number of times. So I think that's one of the biggest impediment in the economy is right now that is affecting the business investment, also the consumers, and in many directions, but also affecting our import as well. So I think addressing the microeconomical imbalances, most importantly inflation, being highlighted, I think it's very much paramount in terms of moving forward as a country. And obviously, one thing has to be mentioned. Of course, the security aspect has to be addressed first. It goes without saying. Of course, we cannot talk any kind of economical policy change or anything without addressing the security problem. And she also addressed it in her speech.
Yeah. So also the government approved the bills for the entry of foreign banks to operate in Ethiopia, as you know. So how should the financial institutions ready themselves, to cope up with such new developments in Ethiopia?
So that's a very good question. Of course, the government, I think, has set out a one-year window. The first thing I would say is that right now, it is possibly one thing we might see happening, and personally I would see happening, is that a merger of banks would happen among the private sectors, because that's the only way you could mobilize your muscle, get stronger, because at the end of the day, for any bank to mobilize loan and to disperse credit, they need a bigger balance sheet, right? So in order to mobilize that, they need to mobilize their capital. So I think first thing they would get ready, in my view, is maybe they could come together and sort of create a merged bank, a bigger, stronger bank. And the other thing is that one thing is to get ready in terms of the digitalization aspect, right? Because that's one thing we're expecting, we're anticipating also from the foreign banks coming and joining the Ethiopian market as well. So in terms of getting ready from, you know, expanding their customer base, digitalizing their way of operation, and building their muscle from a capital perspective, and also, you know, diversifying their credit portfolio.
Okay. Also, as you know, Ethiopian economy is challenged by other issues such as, you know, black market, foreign currency shortage, things like that. So how should the diaspora community help alleviate such issues, especially by sending remittance? And how should the gap be, you know, narrowed between the gap of the black market and the bank?
Well, okay, first let me address it in terms of how to address it, right? Obviously, it's a big issue right now within the Ethiopian economy, obviously. So I would say I would say it's one of the key microeconomical challenges that we've been facing, and it's also highlighted in the homegrown economic reform plan. And the best way to address it would be is at the end of the day, it's economic problem, which means it's a supply and a demand problem, right? And so the best way to address it is to gradually float the bear. So that way the market would get a predictability of prices. Because at the end of the day, a forex market is just like any other market. It's not different than you go buying a car, grocery. It's not different, right? So it depends on what really makes it unique. Is that in the forex market is that it also tells the competitiveness of the country's economy at the end of the day. But we have a forex inflow of $22 billion, and then we have other bills that we have to address. So and the banks need a lot of dollars. So if we can sort of create a formal market to it, where every participant could come up and bid up the price, and appropriately, I think that would be the key solution, and it has been addressed. It has been addressed by the Ministry of Finance as a way forward in terms of Ethiopia, floating the currency. So that it would, get somehow the price would be stabilized. In terms of from a diaspora perspective, I mean the easiest one would be to send the money in formal channels. Okay. Simple as that, right? That would boost the country's forex reserves. Yeah.
So, Mario Dibsrat, economist, thank you so much for your ideas.
Thank you too.
Ethiopia, as an ancient country in the world, has always been known by its particular history, tradition.
I think it's a beautiful country, but what I like most about Ethiopia is its people. Everybody's kind.
Here in Addis Ababa, lots of changes have been happening right after Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has come to power.
There are some kind of cultural things, like if you can see there are some religions over there.
This one is another aspect that introduces the park ultimately as Ethiopia is working toward this tourism promotion. The really good ice cream.
Yeah, I can only agree.
Right now I am going to the kids' playground area, which is found in Andinet Park.
Look how fun it is. It's so crowded and big.
Welcome back. You're still watching Addis News Hour. And moving on, built on a 7-hectare space and hosting 2 major building complexes, Ethiopia's newly inaugurated Science Museum shows 30 interactive exhibits that demonstrate a host of scientific subjects. And this spectacular facility is every bit an expression of Ethiopia's determination to adapt to ever-growing technological developments. Tigist Arnesa reports.
The new Science Museum in the heart of Addis Ababa signifies a continuous growth in mankind's creativity. This beautiful piece of architecture stretches across 7 hectares of land. It is also portrayed as an expression of Ethiopia's determination to adapt to ever-growing technological developments.
Here, there are a lot of science exhibitions. The 3 science technology related companies of Ethiopia has been here for the last almost 1 week. Artificial intelligence, Ethio Telecom, and Information Network Security Agency. Each companies have tried to demonstrate what they have achieved so far in terms of technology and problem solving toward this technology and the economy or the social problems. The main section where we are here is Ethio Telecom section. In Ethio Telecom section, we have tried to demonstrate our past, the current, and the future in terms of technology. So what we have here is we have tried to show what we have been using in the last 128 years, including the first telephone apparatus that we have been using in Ethiopia. Most of the time, I mean, what we learn in school is more of theoretical. So for science to have a memorable experience, we need such spaces, science museums, and where you can exhibit or you can touch and physically experience what's being told by the scientists or technology-related news. So it's an opportunity for everybody to have a memorable experience toward this technology, like the 5G, and we have tried to demonstrate what technology has brought to mining, education, health, and including in fostering the human life, like we have tried to demonstrate the smart home. So plus to that, around 38 innovators have tried, or startups have tried to demonstrate what they have been doing in science area. So it's a good platform where people can have a memorable experience toward the science and technology, and also can have a chance to demonstrate what they have been trying to do or trying to solve people's problem using technology. As well as it's a good opportunity for students and kids to be inspired toward the science, what they have learned in school and what they can do toward the theoretical aspects of science and technology.
It was the venue for the first Pan-African Artificial Intelligence Conference and exhibition, an essential tool for networking, learning and co-creating across the continent.
Everybody, as you can see, so many people, including kids and from different community, are trying to come and experience. This tells you that people are in need of such spaces and such exhibitions. So I would like to call everybody to come and enjoy what we have tried to deploy here toward this technology, toward this innovations and problem solving AI-based or technology-based solutions. So if everybody come and have a look at what we have tried to demonstrate here, definitely they will enjoy and they will inspire their kids. And we have also a lot of game experiences, educational, primary level programming and robotic educational trainings. So I would like to call and invite people to come and enjoy with their family.
Reporting for ETV English, Tigist Sarnesa, the Science Museum at Addis Ababa.
Meanwhile, visitors approached by ETV say the museum serves as a platform for scientific innovations in a bid to support the growth and development of Ethiopia. They say digital transformation will be a catalyst to spur Ethiopia's ambitious economic growth. Their views are compiled as follows.
I think the younger generation can know how AI can be useful for in many areas, especially this country lacks many domain experts. So artificial intelligence can replicate the knowledge of those domain experts. So these younger generations can be inspired to do those things, and also they will be inspired to come up with different solutions for other areas like agriculture, because there are many applications of artificial intelligence, also in the other exhibitions also, not only in the AI. There are many inspiring shows, so those students will be very excited for this field, because now they know that it can be done in Ethiopia, because we have showed them some of the things that that are being done in-house, so they will be inspired to do further great things.
Here we see about technologies, and this museum, it shows us how a technology that's made, and we learned about 5Gs and what they made, and to become a legend, to work like that.
Actually, right now this section is going to show all the people the new technology where we have been got it from Ethiopia Telecom, and we hope so as to continue very well, and we hope also for our family here so as to be upgraded, so as to find all what is it the benefits from this technology.
What I did not even know we had all this, and now it's really nice to see that our country is going in the right direction, and all the innovations. I also saw a robot dog, which was actually really cool. I saw the smart home, and it's really nice. And now I hope our country can develop into to come into our normal house, to use all this stuff that is being innovated. Now it's really cool for the younger generation, and it's really nice to see.
Actually, what is it is very good expressions, and it's very modern. And right now we are catching so as to be the first country in Africa so as to do something like that.
Yeah, no, honestly, I said, I want to be I want to help out in all I can, when it comes to technology, because I'm really interested in coding, it has actually inspired me to pursue my goals in that.
As you try to see what have been done so far from the AI aspect, it's applicable in every area, especially in health. I mean, as you know, we do have the number of medical doctors ratio to the population is very small. So what we have tried to achieve in AI, using the AI technology, can significantly impact the health sector. Plus to that, in industry, in the mining areas as well, also in any investigation areas, it's very helpful. Plus to that, people's life can transform using AI-based or AI-implemented solutions.
You're still watching Addis News Hour, and let's now turn our attention to trending stories over the past 24 hours. And I'm joined by my friend Goshu Maliso to help us understand some of his observations. Welcome, Goshu.
Thank you for having me.
So what are some of the things that you saw over the past 24 hours?
Yeah, a lot of things have been proliferating in social media over the past 24 hours. I've seen one thing, that is Ethiopia has launched National Cybersecurity Month yesterday. So on this occasion, various government officials have been presented there, and cybersecurity, key national security issue to Ethiopia. And Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Demeke Mekonnen on this regard said the government is working on cyber security issue as a key national security issues. As you know, the security, I mean the cyber security is related with the country's economy and political affairs. For example, Ethiopia is grappling with its historical enemies and TPLF. A lot of things have been targeted regarding to disrupt or destabilize Ethiopia's economy and political stability, particularly using the TPLF. So if you remember last year, there was a cyber attack targeted the GERD, for example, which is it is provoked by the Egyptians. And the third national cybersecurity, which is opened yesterday under the theme of integrated cybersecurity for national sovereignty. It was opened in this theme. And at the opening of the ceremony, Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Dammaqaa Mokonnon remarked that attacks have become one of the most pressing issues in the world, he said. So cyber security is the main pillars of the success of Ethiopia, and the government has been working on this matter. One of the main strategic focus, of course, it is included in the 10 years development plan, of course, and he added Dammaqaa here. And in this regard, the government is working cyber security as a key national security issue. So the government has also not only realizing Ethiopia is working to realize digital economy or to digitize its economy. So the government has not only designed Digital 2025 Ethiopia, but also started implementing it in many sectors. That the strategy needs to give equal attention to the safety of technological development in order to realize the country's prosperity journey. And I think the Science Museum, which is inaugurated recently, is very helpful for that matter. And he stressed that the role of the private sector is pivotal in ensuring national ownership of technology and realizing cybersecurity. Here, the INSA is tirelessly working to do that, or at least ensuring national ownership of technology. As you know, we are using the US-based or other technologies. We are using that. So cybersecurity is therefore one of the major issues that challenge the sovereignty of the nation these days. INSA have been doing extensive works to ensure that. So this is what I have seen, Shafi.
All right, Goshu, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Moving on, the U.S. lawmakers declared that it is time for the Biden administration to cease comparing Ethiopia's legitimate government with the terrorist TPLF and to reinstate Ethiopia's inclusion in the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA. Mark Warner, a senator from Virginia, and Don Beyer, a representative for Virginia's 8th congressional district, both underlined that the United States should avoid treating the government and the outlawed party equally. They emphasized that it is time to accept Ethiopia's democratically elected government. The elected representatives attended the event, listened to the opinions of their constituents, and emphasized that the time had come to reconsider the United States' long-standing policy toward Ethiopia. The Ethiopian Embassy in Djibouti, in partnership with the International Organization for Migration, IOM, organized a function to distribute a cash donation of $12,472 to 42 vulnerable Ethiopian migrants in Djibouti. Berhanu Tsagai, Ethiopian ambassador to Djibouti, and Stephanie Davio, the nation's IOM representative, presented vulnerable Ethiopian migrants with cash donations that had been raised through creative financial mobilization strategies. Speaking on the occasion, Ambassador Tsagai praised the fundraising efforts and emphasized the value of migrant awareness building. Stephanie Davio expressed gratitude for the embassy's ongoing support, further underlining the organization's commitment to exerting the necessary effort. Now, in business, a delegation led by the Minister of Finance, Ahmed Shide, arrived in Washington, D.C. to attend the annual conferences of the World Bank Group and the International Monetary Fund, IMF. The annual meeting has been launched with a theme, Unity in Times of Crisis. National Bank Governor Yinagar Desi and State Minister for Finance Eyyub Tekaling are part of the delegation. The Ethiopian ambassador to the U.S., Seleshi Bekkele, tweeted that meetings about bilateral and international concerns had taken place at the embassy in Washington, D.C. The annual meeting will last until October 17, 2022. Moving on, some Kenyan delegates say fostering cultural exchange is essential to advancing regional unity. Mohammed Ahmed, a businessman and member of the group, says bringing the Ethiopian and Kenyan communities together will promote cultural exchange and regional unity. Shagai Mato has more on that from the Ethiopian news agency.
The cradle of the Arab Spring protests, Tunisia is running into longer turmoil. Sugar, vegetable oil, rice, and even bottled water periodically disappear from supermarkets and grocery stores. People stand in line for hours for these food essentials that have long been subsidized and are now increasingly available in rations only.
It is not possible to live without food. We can live without furniture or a building or anything unnecessary, but eating is a necessary thing, especially on occasions like Eid, Ramadan or Milad. And we can't do without basic ingredients no matter what.
Inflation has reached a record rate of 9.1%, of the highest in 3 decades. According to the National Institute of Statistics, the Central Bank of Tunisia added a hit by increasing bank fees and interest rates.
Providers oil, sugar and semolina. This now costs $5 a kilo, and 5 liters of oil has now become $17.
The government has blamed speculators, black market hoarders, and the war in Ukraine, but economic experts say the government's own budget crisis and its inability to negotiate a long-sought loan from the International Monetary Fund have added to Tunisia's troubles.
تونس في ظل هذا الارتفاع للأسعار أصبحت غير قادرة على أن تكون في الصف الأول من الدول.
Faced with this price increase, Tunisia has become one of the first countries unable to pay for its purchases of raw materials. There is a lack of cereals, of energy, and many more. Producing countries sell to countries which they have confidence will pay. But Tunisia is at the back of the queue, and sometimes it misses its turn, which explains the shortages of subsidized basic materials like sugar, flour, vegetable oil, because all these things are imported materials.
Tunisia relies heavily on imports, and its long-running economic troubles mean it has limited leverage on international markets to secure the goods it needs.
Well, dear viewers, the previous news was presented by Haptam Shagre, and the lead should have been Tunisians have been hit with soaring food prices and shortage of basic staples in recent weeks, and apologies for that. And finally, a quick recap of the top stories. Peace and security in the Horn of Africa nation dubbed a matter of life and death. And recently opened Science Museum said pivotal to beef up socio-economic progress of the nation. And with that, we come to the end of today's stories. Thank you indeed for watching us.